Ambassador Vextara stepped off her silver shuttle onto the strange blue-green planet called Earth. Her purple skin glowed softly under the protective suit that kept her safe from this alien world. The Helix Empire had sent her here to make first contact with the species called humans. This was supposed to be a great day for the galaxy. She walked toward the small building where the humans waited to meet her. Her scanner beeped quietly, checking the air and ground for dangerous substances. Everything seemed normal until she entered the meeting room. A human male with dark hair stood near a table. He looked young and smiled when he saw her. "Welcome to Earth," he said in a friendly voice. "I am Jiho, and I represent our planet's government." Vexitara nodded politely. Her translator device changed his words into her language. "I am Ambassador Vextara. The Helix Empire is pleased to meet your people." Jiho picked up a clear bottle from the table. Inside was a liquid that looked harmless enough. It was clear like crystal, but moved like water. "Would you like some water? You must be tired from your long journey." Vextara's scanner suddenly screamed, with alarm sounds. Red lights flashed all over her suit. The words "extreme danger" appeared on her screen. Her breathing became fast and scared. "What is that substance?" she asked, stepping back from Jiho. "Water," Jiho said, looking confused. "It's just water. We drink it every day." The scanner showed more warnings. This was dihydrogen monoxide, the most dangerous liquid in the known galaxy. It had destroyed 3 entire planets in the outer rim. The acid rain on Kepler 7 had been this same substance. It ate through the strongest metals like they were paper. It dissolved mountains and turned solid rock into nothing. "You must not drink that," Vextara shouted. "That liquid is banned in 47 star systems. It is a weapon of mass destruction." Jiho stared at her with wide eyes. Then he lifted the bottle to his mouth and drank from it. He swallowed the deadly liquid and smiled. "It's really good. Are you sure you don't want some?" Vextara could not believe what she was seeing. This creature had just consumed the galaxy's most feared substance. Her people had fought wars to keep this liquid away from populated worlds. The Crystalline Confederation had lost an entire colony when this substance fell from the sky like rain. "How are you still alive?" she whispered. "What do you mean?" Jiho asked. He took another drink from the bottle. "Water is harmless. We need it to live. Without water, we would die in just a few days." More humans entered the room. A woman named Huna carried another bottle of the terrible liquid. A man called Jinwoo had a cup full of it. They were all drinking the destroyer substance like it was nothing special. Vextara's suit systems went crazy with warnings. Every scanner she had was telling her to run away immediately. These beings were not just touching the galactic poison, they were putting it inside their bodies. They were consuming it on purpose. You need this to live?" Vextara asked. "Of course," Huna said with a laugh. "Our bodies are mostly water. We drink it, cook with it, wash with it. Look outside." Vextara looked through the window. Her horror grew even more. The destroyer liquid was everywhere. It fell from the sky in drops. It flowed in rivers across the land. It filled huge areas that the humans called lakes and oceans. This entire planet was covered in the substance that had ended civilizations. "Your whole world is made of weapons," she said quietly. "Weapons?" Jinwoo looked confused. "Water isn't a weapon, it's life. Plants need it. Animals need it. Everything on Earth needs water to survive." Vexitara realized something terrible. These humans were not just immune to the destroyer liquid. They had built their entire civilization around it. They used it for everything. Their planet was a death world covered in the most dangerous substance in space, and they called it home. She backed toward the door. "I must leave immediately." "Wait," Jiho called out. "We haven't finished our meeting. Don't you want to establish trade relations?" "Trade relations? With beings who drank planetary destroyer for breakfast, who lived on a world covered in galactic poison. These creatures were too dangerous to exist. If they ever left their world and spread their deadly liquid technology across the galaxy, it would mean the end of everything." Vextara ran to her shuttle as fast as her legs could carry her. Her hands shook as she started the engines. She opened a communication channel to the Helix Empire fleet, waiting at the edge of the solar system. "Emergency protocol," she shouted into the communicator. "Earth must be quarantined immediately. These beings have weaponized the destroyer liquid. They consume it willingly. The entire planet is a death world covered in dihydrogen monoxide." The response came quickly. "Understood, Ambassador. Full blockade protocols are now in effect. No ship will enter or leave this system." As her shuttle flew away from Earth, Vextara looked back at the blue planet. Somewhere down there, the humans were still drinking their terrible liquid and wondering why she had run away. They had no idea that they had just become the most feared species in the galaxy. Fleet Admiral Crexmore received Ambassador Vexitara's emergency message while his massive warship floated at the edge of Earth's solar system. His 6 eyes turned bright red with alarm as he read the report. The humans were drinking dihydrogen monoxide. They were consuming the destroyer liquid that had ended 3 civilizations. "Sound the emergency alert," he ordered his crew. "Send word to all council fleets. We need every available ship here immediately." Within hours, the largest fleet in galactic history surrounded Earth's solar system. Hundreds of warships from dozens of different species formed a blockade around the blue planet. No ship would enter or leave. The humans were trapped. On Earth, Dr. Hyan sat in her research laboratory looking at the strange readings on her deep space scanner. Ships were appearing everywhere around their solar system. Big ships, military ships, and they were all pointing weapons toward Earth. "Minho, come look at this," she called to her assistant. Minho walked over carrying a cup of coffee. The steam rose from the hot liquid as he set it down on the desk. "What is it, Dr. Hyan?" "Alien ships," she said, pointing at the screen. "Hundreds of them. They have us completely surrounded." Minho nearly dropped his coffee cup. Surrounded? But why? The meeting with their ambassador went well, didn't it? Dr. Hyan shook her head. "I don't think it did. Look at these energy readings. They have weapons charged and ready to fire." She worked at her computer, trying to intercept alien communications. Her translation program was still new, but it was getting better at understanding their languages. Slowly, words began to appear on her screen. "Destroyer liquid confirmed," she read aloud. "Death world species, extreme danger, quarantine protocols, in effect." "Destroyer liquid?" Minho asked. "What destroyer liquid?" Dr. Hyan kept reading the alien messages. Her face grew pale as she understood more. "Minho, I think they're talking about water." "Water?" Minho laughed and took a sip from his coffee cup. "That's silly. Water isn't dangerous." "Not to us, Doctor," Hyan said quietly. "But what if it is to them? What if water is deadly to alien life forms?" She worked faster, translating more messages. The aliens were talking about something called the burning rain of Kepler-7, the dissolving floods of Proxima Station. 3 destroyed planets, all caused by dihydrogen monoxide. "Oh no," she whispered. "Minho, they think we're monsters. They think water is a weapon." Meanwhile, on the command ship of the blockade fleet, Admiral Crexmore studied the readings from Earth. His scientists had confirmed the worst fears. The planet was covered in destroyer liquid. It fell from the sky. It flowed in rivers and filled massive bodies of water that covered most of the surface. "How do they survive?" asked his science officer Plextaran. "They don't just survive," Crexmore said grimly. "They drink it. They consume the substance that destroyed the Kexthari homeworld." The memory of that disaster still haunted the galaxy. The Kexthari had been a peaceful species with beautiful crystal cities. Then the destroyer liquid had rained from the sky for 7 days. It had dissolved their buildings, their technology, their very bodies. An entire civilization had been wiped out in a week. Back on Earth, Dr. Hyan finally managed to send a message to the alien fleet. She used simple words and basic mathematical concepts to show that humans were peaceful. She included pictures of children playing, families eating together, scientists working in laboratories. The response came back immediately. It was just 2 words in several alien languages. "Stay back," Dr. Hyan tried again. She sent information about Earth's biology, explaining how water was necessary for all life on their planet. She showed them plants growing, animals drinking from streams, humans using water for cooking and cleaning. The aliens responded with more messages. Lies, deception. No life can survive destroyer liquid contact. Minho stood behind Dr. Hyan, watching her work. They really don't understand, do they? No, she said sadly. To them, we're creatures from their worst nightmares. We live on a planet covered in deadly poison, and we drink it for fun. Admiral Crexmore called a meeting of all fleet commanders. The holographic images of dozens of alien captains appeared in his conference room. They came from many different worlds, but they all shared the same fear. The humans have refused our warnings, Crexmore announced. They continue to consume the destroyer liquid. They even sent us images of their young doing the same. Captain Zexthun from the Spiral Alliance spoke up. Perhaps they don't understand the danger. Impossible, replied Commander Vexkara from the Ring Worlds. No species could be that foolish. They must be lying to us. Or, said Admiral Crexmore slowly, they have evolved to use the destroyer liquid as a weapon. Think about it. What if they can control it? What if they have turned the galaxy's most feared substance into their greatest strength? The thought terrified every commander in the meeting. A species that could weaponize destroyer liquid would be unstoppable. They could destroy any world by simply releasing their liquid weapons into the atmosphere. We cannot allow them to leave their system, Crexmore decided. If they spread their destroyer liquid technology across the galaxy, it will mean the end of all civilized life. On Earth, Dr. Hyan kept trying to communicate with the alien fleet. She didn't know that her peaceful messages were being seen as threats. Every picture of humans drinking water looked like warriors consuming weapons. Every image of Earth's oceans looked like massive stockpiles of galactic destruction. The quarantine was complete. Humanity was trapped on their blue world, surrounded by enemies who saw them as the most dangerous species in the universe. And all because they drank a glass of water. Captain Deho stood on the bridge of his warship Soul's Pride as it moved toward the alien blockade. Behind him flew 50 of Earth's best military ships. The aliens had refused to talk. They had threatened to destroy any human ship that tried to leave the solar system. Earth's leaders had decided they could not live as prisoners on their own planet. Sir, we're picking up alien communications, reported Lieutenant Yunbi from her station. They're warning us to turn back immediately. Deho took a long drink from his water bottle and set it down on his command chair. Tell them we come in peace, but we will defend our right to travel freely in space. The alien response came quickly. Admiral Crexmore's voice filled the bridge through the translator. Human vessels, you carry destroyer liquid weapons. Return to your planet or we will open fire. Destroyer liquid weapons? Deho looked confused. He picked up his water bottle and looked at it. They think this is a weapon? Sir, called out Commander Jinsu from the weapons station, alien ships are powering up their guns. 20 vessels moving to intercept us. Deho made his decision. All ships prepare for battle. But remember, we're not the bad guys here. We're just trying to protect our home. The first alien ship fired a bright energy beam at the Soul's Pride. The beam hit the hull and burned through several layers of metal. Warning lights flashed all over the bridge. Damage report, Deho shouted. Hull breach in Section 7, reported Chief Engineer Minjay over the communication system. The cooling system is leaking. What Minjay didn't say was that the cooling system used water. As the Soul's Pride flew through space, drops of water began floating out of the damaged hull into the empty void. On the alien command ship, Science Officer Plexteran watched his sensors with growing horror. Admiral, the human ship is releasing destroyer liquid into space. What? Admiral Crexmore stared at the readings. They're using it as a weapon already? No, sir. I think their ship is damaged. The destroyer liquid is leaking out. Crexmore could not believe what he was seeing. The human ship was bleeding the most dangerous substance in the galaxy, but it kept fighting. How were the crew members still alive with destroyer liquid floating around inside their ship? Captain Deho didn't know that the aliens were terrified of his ship's water leak. He was focused on the battle. "Fire back at their lead ship," he ordered. The human weapons hit the alien vessel, causing it to retreat quickly. More alien ships moved in to attack, but something strange happened. Every time the aliens got close to the Soul's Pride, they would suddenly pull back. "Sir, why do they keep running away?" asked Lieutenant Yunbi. "I don't know," Deho replied. He took another drink of water to calm his nerves. Maybe they're not as tough as they look. But the aliens weren't running because they were weak. They were running because they could see the destroyer liquid leaking from the human ship. To them, it looked like the humans were deliberately releasing chemical weapons into space. More human ships joined the battle. The Busan fighter and the Incheon Guardian flew alongside the Soul's Pride. During the fight, both ships also took damage. Both ships also began leaking water from their cooling systems. Admiral Crexmore watched in terror as 3 human ships continued fighting while surrounded by clouds of destroyer liquid. "How are they still alive?" he whispered. "Admiral," reported his tactical officer, "the humans appear to be drinking the destroyer liquid during battle." This was true. Captain Deho had just taken another sip from his water bottle. On the Busan fighter, Captain Hijian was drinking coffee that was mostly water. On the Incheon Guardian, the crew was eating soup that contained large amounts of water. To the aliens, it looked like the humans were consuming chemical weapons to make themselves stronger for battle. "They're not just immune to it," Crexmore said in a shaking voice. "They use it to power their bodies during combat." The battle continued for 3 hours. The human ships were outnumbered 20-1, but they kept winning. Every time an alien ship got close, it would detect destroyer liquid and retreat in panic. The humans couldn't understand why their enemies kept running away. "This is too easy," Captain Deho told his crew. "They have better weapons and more ships, but they won't come close enough to use them properly." What he didn't know was that the aliens thought the space around the human ships was filled with deadly poison. They were trying to fight from a safe distance, but their weapons weren't as effective from far away. Finally, Admiral Crexmore ordered his entire fleet to retreat to a safer distance. The human ships had won the first battle, but the war was far from over. "Send a message to all council worlds," Crexmore told his communication officer. "The humans are more dangerous than we thought. They don't just survive contact with destroyer liquid. They use it as fuel for their bodies and weapons for their ships. We need more help." Captain Deho watched the alien fleet pull back. He finished his water bottle and smiled. Well, that wasn't so hard. Maybe these aliens aren't as scary as they pretend to be. He had no idea that somewhere in the alien fleet, commanders were sending urgent messages across the galaxy. The messages all said the same thing. "The humans have weaponized the destroyer liquid. They are the most dangerous species we have ever encountered." The first battle was over, but both sides had completely misunderstood what had really happened. Dr. Hyan walked down the hallway of Earth's military prison carrying a cup of tea. The steam rose from the hot liquid as she approached the cell holding their first alien prisoner. His name was Texelin, and he had been captured when his small scout ship was damaged in the last battle. The alien looked like a tall, thin creature made of blue crystal. He sat in the corner of his cell, as far away from Dr. Hyan as possible. When he saw her cup of tea, his crystal body began to glow with fear. "Please," Texelin whispered through the translator device. "Keep that destroyer liquid away from me." Dr. Hyan stopped walking. "Destroyer liquid, you mean this tea?" "Yes." Texelin pressed himself against the wall. "That substance has killed billions of my people. How can you touch it and still be alive?" Dr. Hyan looked at her teacup. It was just hot water with some leaves in it. Nothing dangerous at all. "I don't understand. This is just tea. It's mostly water." When she said the word water, Texlin made a sound like breaking glass. It was the alien version of a scream. "You speak its name so easily," he said with horror. "That substance destroyed my homeworld of Crystallos Prime." The burning rain fell for 7 days. It dissolved our cities, our people, everything we had built over 1,000 years. Dr. Hyan sat down slowly in a chair outside the cell. She was careful to keep her teacup far from the alien. "Tell me about this burning rain." Texlin's crystal body grew darker as he remembered. It came from the sky like clear death. Our scientists said it was dihydrogen monoxide, just 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen, but it was the end of everything. That's just the chemical name for water, Dr. Hyan said softly. Your water melted our crystal homes like they were made of sugar. It ate through our strongest metals. When it touched our people, they dissolved like salt in acid. Dr. Hyan began to understand. Texlin, what is your body made of? Crystal matrix based on silicon compounds, he replied. Like most intelligent species in the galaxy. Now it made sense. Water would dissolve silicon-based life forms. To them, water really was like acid to humans. Dr. Hyan thought about Earth's biology classes. Humans were carbon-based life forms. Water was harmless to carbon but deadly to silicon. What about other alien species? She asked. What are they made of? The Helix Empire beings are methane-based, Texelin explained. The Ringworld people are ammonia-based. The Spiral Alliance creatures are sulfur-based. Your destroyer liquid is deadly to all of us. Dr. Hyan felt her heart sink. No wonder the aliens were terrified. To every species in the galaxy except humans, water was the most dangerous substance imaginable. Texlin, she said gently, on our world water is not dangerous. We need it to live. Our bodies are mostly water. Without it, we would die in just a few days. The alien stared at her with his large crystal eyes. Impossible. Nothing can survive direct contact with the destroyer liquid. Dr. Hyan set down her teacup and picked up a glass of plain water from the table. Texlin moved as far back as he could go. Watch, she said. She lifted the glass to her lips and drank the water slowly. Texlin made another glass-breaking sound. You consumed it. How are you not dead? Because to humans, water is life, Dr. Hyan explained. Our planet is covered with it. It falls. From the sky as rain. We swim in it for fun. Our children play in it. A death world, Texlin whispered. You come from a death world covered in destroyer liquid. Dr. Hyan called Captain Deho on her communication device. Captain, I need you to come to the prison immediately. I've figured out why the aliens are afraid of us. When Captain Deho arrived, he was carrying a bottle of water as usual. Texlin saw the bottle and began glowing brighter with fear. Captain, show him that water is harmless to humans, Dr. Hyan said. Deho looked confused but opened his water bottle and took a long drink. Texlin watched in absolute terror and amazement. Your species evolved on a world of poison, Texlin said quietly. You are immune to the substance that has destroyed 3 civilizations. Not immune, Dr. Hyan corrected. We need it. Water is the foundation of all life on Earth. Captain Deho sat down in another chair. So when our ships leaked coolant during the battle, they thought we were releasing chemical weapons, Dr. Hyan finished. And when we drank water during the fight, they thought we were consuming battle drugs. We're not monsters, Deho said to Texlin. We're just different. Texlin's crystal body began to glow with a softer, less fearful light. If you can survive on a world covered in destroyer liquid, then you could live on planets that we consider uninhabitable hell worlds, Dr. Hyan smiled. And you could live on planets that would kill us instantly. Maybe we're not enemies. Maybe we're meant to help each other. She picked up her communication device again. I need to contact Admiral Crexmore immediately. We have a lot to explain. For the first time since the aliens had arrived, there was hope for peace. The misunderstanding was terrible, but it wasn't impossible to fix. Both species just needed to learn that the galaxy was big enough for different kinds of life. The peace meeting took place on Space Station Unity, a neutral location floating between Earth and the alien fleet. Dr. Hyan walked through the station's corridors carrying her briefcase and a bottle of water. She was nervous, but hopeful. Behind her walked Captain Deho and diplomat Suman, who would speak for all of humanity. On the other side of the station, Ambassador Vextara and Admiral Crexmore prepared for the meeting. They wore special protective suits that would keep them safe if the humans released any destroyer liquid. Both aliens were still afraid, but they were willing to listen. The meeting room was divided by a clear energy barrier. Humans sat on one side, aliens on the other. Translator devices would help them understand each other's words. Suman spoke first. Thank you for agreeing to meet with us. We believe there has been a terrible misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Admiral Crexmore's voice was sharp through the translator. You consume the destroyer liquid that has ended civilizations. We call it water, Suman said calmly. And yes, we drink it every day. She reached into her bag and pulled out a clear bottle filled with water. Immediately, alarm sounds went off on the alien side. Red warning lights flashed. Vexitara and Crexmore moved back quickly. Please don't be afraid, Suman said. I want to show you something. She opened the bottle slowly. The aliens watched in terror as she lifted it to her lips and took a drink. She swallowed the water and smiled. This is water, she explained. On our world, it is not dangerous. It is necessary for life. Dr. Hyon stood up and walked to a screen on the wall. Let me show you why we are different. Pictures appeared on the screen showing the inside of human cells. Our bodies are made of carbon, she explained. Water does not hurt carbon. It helps carbon-based life to survive. More pictures showed alien cells. Your bodies are made of silicon, methane, and other substances. Water dissolves these materials, that is why it is deadly to you. Admiral Crexmore studied the pictures carefully. His 6 eyes moved back and forth as he tried to understand. You are saying that your biology makes you immune to the destroyer liquid? Not immune, Captain Deho said. We need it. Without water, humans die quickly. Our planet is covered with water because that is how life began on Earth. Vexitara spoke for the first time. Your world is what we call a death world, a planet where the destroyer liquid flows freely. And your worlds would be death worlds to us, Dr. Hyon replied. We cannot breathe methane or ammonia. We would die on your planets just as quickly as you would die on ours. The room became quiet as both sides thought about this. Finally, Admiral Crexmore asked, if your species can survive on destroyer liquid worlds, what other impossible things can you do? Suman smiled. We can live on planets with acid rain. We can work in places with extreme heat or cold. We can survive in environments that would kill most species in the galaxy. And in return, Captain Deho added, you could teach us about technologies that work with methane, ammonia, and other substances that we cannot use. Admiral Crexmore looked at Vextara. They spoke quietly in their own language for several minutes. Finally, Crexmore turned back to the humans. You could colonize the Forbidden Worlds, he said slowly. Forbidden worlds? Dr. Hyon asked. Planets rich in minerals and energy, but covered with destroyer liquid. We have found dozens of them, but no species can survive there long enough to build colonies. Vexitara added, if humans could live on those worlds, they would be incredibly valuable. The resources there could power the entire galaxy. Suman leaned forward. And what would you want in return? Partnership, Admiral Crexmore said. The galaxy is vast. There are many dangerous places that need to be explored. If humans can survive in destroyer liquid environments, you could go where no other species can go. The negotiations continued, for many hours. Both sides were careful and polite, but excitement grew as they realized the possibilities. Humans could explore water worlds, ice planets, and other places too dangerous for silicon-based life. In return, aliens could teach humans about advanced space travel, energy production, and technologies that worked with gases and crystals. Finally, they signed the Treaty of Unity. Earth would join the Galactic Council as the first Death World species. Humans would become the Council's specialists for exploring dangerous planets. The signing ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. Billions of aliens watched as human diplomat Suman signed the treaty while drinking water from a bottle. Many aliens still found it terrifying to watch, but they were beginning to understand. 6 months later, the first human colony was established on Aquarius Prime, a planet completely covered with water. The alien species had discovered it years ago but could never land there safely. For humans, it was paradise. Young Jiwon and Hana played in the colony's fountains while their parents worked in the research facilities. Alien visitors watched from behind protective barriers, still amazed that these creatures could swim in the substance that had destroyed worlds. Dr. Hyon stood with Ambassador Vexus Terra at the observation deck, looking out at the water world that was humanity's first galactic colony. "Your people are truly remarkable," Vextara said. "You have turned our greatest fear into your greatest strength." Dr. Hyon smiled and raised her water bottle in a toast. "To partnership between species, and to finding strength in our differences. The galaxy would never be the same, but it would be much larger than anyone had ever imagined. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses."